uncertainty is the enemy of growth, investment, and job creation, and that some federal actions are simply threats of actions, have injected tremendous uncertainty into economic decision-making and business planning. We must and we can do better. Whether at the state level or the national level, we must refocus our efforts on putting in place policies that will grow jobs by unleashing the innovation and ingenuity of the private sector. In many cases, government will be our partner. In some, we will need to make sure it does not impede our efforts. We must recognize that every bill proposed, considered, or passed is a jobs bill, and they must always ask the question, how will this idea impact jobs? Will it speed our recovery or impede it? The jury's still out on the recently passed health care reform, but it certainly has created uncertainty, anxiety, and confusion. Many in the business community, including the Virginia Chamber of Commerce, actively opposed this mammoth undertaking as a measure that went too far too fast. Its implementation and fine-tuning will take years and generate more uncertainty as more and more is needed to be found out about it. For example, one needed change that has already come to light is the 1099 tax provision in Section 9006 of the new law. That section places an unprecedented burden on small business reporting and paperwork requirements. This section includes a provision that requires businesses to file 1099 tax returns starting in 2012 for many purchases. It's bad news for all businesses, especially smaller ones, and we ask that you fix it now by supporting the Small Business Paperwork Mandate Elimination Act in the House or the appropriate measure in the Senate. We also ask that you co-sponsor the Patients' Freedom to Choose Act of 2010. That bill would repeal limitations on health savings accounts and flexible spending arrangements included in the new law. We urge the Congress and the administration to remove this lingering uncertainty by immediately supporting at least a temporary extension of all the tax relief passed in the prior decade. Another less publicized but equally important labor relations measure that concerns particularly Virginia is the Public Safety Employer-Employee Cooperation Act. And what it would do would be to overturn Virginia's law prohibiting public sector bargaining in the public sector. We ask Congress to respect our state's decision by taking this issue off the table, and we specifically thank Senators Webb and Warner for voting against this bill when Congress tried to sneak it through on the coattails of other legislation. In closing, I'd like to comment on one final jobs issue that many of you are already working on, and we thank you. It is the recent proposal to close the United States Joint Forces Command in Norfolk and Suffolk. These facilities employ nearly 5,000 civilians and service members. This proposal, if implemented, will cost good quality, high-paying jobs for thousands of Virginians, and it could not come at a worse time. We ask that you continue your good work to reverse the proposal. And I ask our congressional delegation, whether you're Republicans or Democrats, to seek a centrist line, to begin to foster legislation that, while it may not be exactly what any of us want, we can all say, I can live with that. And it represents a reasonable compromise of all the different views in our nation.